Hello and welcome. I am your host of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Author Karen E. Osborne. I have five novels out. The latest is Justice for Emerson. I am so glad that you're here. This is a space for readers and writers to come together and talk about books. I get to reintroduce you to a writer friend, which is that always makes me so happy. This is Linda Rosen. Hey, Linda.
Hi. I'm so excited to be back with you. And anyway, to see you.
It is good. We live in the same state, but we live hours
I know.
apart.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so this is special. This is
Yeah.
terrific. And you met Linda a couple of years ago, and I will put the link so that you can, if you want to see the first interview and about her last wonderful, wonderful book. But this time she's here 2 days before publication day for abandoning the script. And oh, I see you have a copy. Can we see the cover?
Oh, let me go get the copy.
Yeah, I can see it.
Here it is.
Isn't that good looking?
I
That
love this
looks,
cover. I
I
really
love this
love this
cover. It's
cover.
it's really good.
It gets the vibe of being vintage, a historical novel.
Yes.
And
Yes.
throughout the book, the book is set up in acts because my main character is an actress. So in act two of the book, the whole middle section, there's letter writing and journaling. So there's your pen, and then of course, I always have a piece of
Always
jewelry,
jewelry, which
and
we're going to talk
tiny,
about.
tiny in there are the earrings, and there's a baby's crib in the background, which has a lot to
Oh.
do with the book.
Hmm. All right, let's dive in. So
Uh,
share the setting, the premise, the time. Just give us the
the bit.
summary.
Okay. Well, as I said, my main character, Lucy, is an actress. And Lucy never wanted the ring on her finger or the baby in the crib. But it was 1922, and there was really nothing she could do about that. But how far will she go to live her dream, and at what cost to her and to those she loves? It's a multi-generational book. I love Grandmama. She's in there, Lucy's mother-in-law. And you have the baby. Um, and then later on, the baby gets older. She becomes an adult. So we go from the 20s and 30s, and then Act Three is 1951, when the enormous secret that's been held in the earrings is revealed through the journals that um, Anna, the baby, finds that were her grandmother's
And how old
journals.
is Anna when this happens?
She's 31 in 1951. Yes,
Mm,
yes,
yeah. Wow. So that is a lot, multi-generational, and all your books have jewelry.
yes.
I love that this is an aside, but Linda hosts when she has book clubs and folks invite her. She asks them to bring their vintage jewelry because that's what, and people
It's
do, right? They come and they bring all kinds of things.
it's so much fun. I do it with book clubs, but I do it for speaking engagements with women's clubs and libraries and whatever. I call it Jewelry and the Art of Story. And yeah, I tell about the jewelry in my books because each one has its own story about why I chose that piece. Sometimes I have personal stories about it, but then the people bring a piece of their heirloom, their grandmother's pearls or mother's, ring, and they tell their stories. And then we make up fictitious stories about it. And the funny thing is, I'm not a thriller writer or a mystery writer, but these stories that I wind up making up on the spur of the moment are always that way.
You are a thriller and a mystery writer. You just haven't put it down on paper.
That's right. Right.
I really love that. I look at some of the jewelry that I have from my grandmother and from my mother, and I think, well, it's probably a story to be told.
There is always a story, and if not, let me help you make it up. There's always a story. Yes.
Yes, yes. So, so tell us about Lucy. And you gave us a little taste, but tell us a little bit about her as a character. What is she like? And leaving your
Mm.
baby.
Mm. Lucy
Yeah.
was
So,
probably the hardest character I ever wrote. Um, Let me back up and say, I don't know if you or any of your readers or listeners have read The Lions of Fifth Avenue by Fiona Davis, but I read that book. I'm a huge fan of Fiona Davis, and I was introduced to the Heterodoxy Club, which was a secret club in the late 1800s, early 1900s, all in Greenwich Village. And these were women really ahead of their time. They were unorthodox women, unconventional. They might have been the first journalists, the first lawyers, the first doctors, um, even an actress. That was not a thing at that,
right,
respected at the time. Um, and they would meet weekly at Polly's restaurant in the village, and they had their secret meetings. And it was always, they were like the beginning feminists. It was always a lot of discussion on that kind of thing. So my book opens up when they're discussing birth control because this is what Lucy wished she had had, but it
um,
just wasn't a thing
yeah,
that
it was
her
only
husband
just coming out in the
just,
in the
yes,
early
yes.
20s. Yeah.
And we have Margaret Sanger in the book. I love to put in
Yes,
real people with my fictitious people. But Lucy really never wanted to marry Charles, and she never wanted to have a child. She only wanted to act. She would be fine staying in the marriage. She tried to stay in the marriage, um, but he never gave an inch, and she felt that she was locked in a gilded cage because they were wealthy. So that's why I say gilded cage. But it's no shock because it's on the back of the book. Lucy does leave her child with secretly, though. It's how she goes about it and how she secretly gets out of the house and travels from New York City to Los Angeles in 1922, which was not easy. Um, and it's all her angst of leaving a child. But she loves her so much. She's only 13 months at the time. And it was really out of that love that she felt this was the best thing to do for the baby because she was going to be a horrible mother. Lucy did not have a good mother herself. She knew she didn't have an ounce of nurturing in her body, and the baby would be better off. She felt she would come to resent her because Charles wasn't going to let her be anywhere near a stage. Nothing. She tried in every which way that she could to do it part time and whatever. But Charles
just
was a
wasn't.
horror. He was fun to write, but he was a horror. But Lucy was the toughest one to write because I wanted people to understand a woman's plight at that time and a woman um, who really needed to live her dream. And don't we all want to live our dreams? But at what cost? And I was hoping the reader would have some sympathy, and early reviews are showing me that they understand her. So I'm glad about that. Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad about that too. Whoa, that's
But
that's
then
that's
you
an
have
emotional.
Grandmama. Yeah, see, then there's Lucy's mother-in-law, who is just this wonderful. I love writing about those. I'm a grandma. I don't know. I love writing about those characters. And I love that character of Grandmama. And then
Does she
how,
take care of the baby? Does she take care of Anna?
yes, she takes care of Anna, but then more happens and how the
Of
secret
course.
is pushed and A lot more happens.
A lot more
A
happens.
lot more
Yes, it
happens.
wouldn't be a story if it didn't.
And the thing is
Lots
that
more.
Lucy had two very close friends from childhood.
Hmm.
That's where the earrings come in. And in she's secretly leaving. They can't even know where she goes. So
Hmm.
it's her wanting to tell and not being able to tell. And then when she's trying to reach out and she can never reach out to them, or she's never hears back from them, and how they don't understand. And then that whole story evolves, and you find out in 1951 actually why and what happened. But I have two very close girlfriends, one since I'm three, and the two of us met the other one in kindergarten. So that's a couple of years ago. And I always would like to imagine, as I was thinking about this book, I was imagining what would happen if one of us just took off and we never ever heard from her again. We wouldn't know if she was alive or not, and
Hmm.
the husband wouldn't tell us anything. So that all fed into writing the story.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I too have girlfriends. I just lost one that I'd known since I was two.
No.
And whatever
Oh,
age you are when your parents put you out on the stoop to play, whatever age that was, that's how long I knew her.
yes, yes.
But she is gone. But I my other childhood friends since I was 12, and we're still best friends. And
There's nothing like friendships from that age. I always say, if a friend knew your grandparents, that's really special, you know.
exactly, exactly. I'm married to my friend who knew my grandparents.
That's right. There you go.
So, so now, I want you to think about your your writing journey, and as you've done your research. Let me ask you first about research. I ask you something about. So, when you were researching for this book, did anything come up that surprised you or intrigued you, or when you found it, you said, "I have to." Was there anything
Yes,
that you could
yes.
share with the audience that came
Um,
out?
Two things actually. I found out, and this was back in the 20s, and I don't think the law changed till sometime in the 50s. There was really a law against women wearing pants.
A
It was
law.
on the books. There was a law. Everybody ignored it, but there was a law, and I absolutely had to get that into my novel.
Yes.
Yes. And the other was something called the American Plan, which I learned about. If I can get it right now, it started, I researched this so long ago. It started, I think it was with World War One. Oh, it had to be World War One because I'm in the 20s, of course. It started with the war, and if a woman was pregnant out of wedlock, she could be arrested, basically for being a whore, and she could be sent away to jail or whatever, because they were trying to protect the soldiers from wanton women. And it was all about syphilis, gonorrhea, all
Yeah,
about
yeah.
sexually transmitted diseases. And so I had to fit that into my novel also
Yes.
somewhere. So
Yes, yes,
those
yes.
were amazing things to me. But it was also the heterodoxy club, which I learned about, that
Yes.
got the book started, you
Of
know.
those feminist women, those
Yes.
strong,
But a
ahead of their
secret
time,
club,
forward thinking.
forward think, but a secret club. Nobody could
Yeah, it
know
would
about
have
what
to
was
be, because
going
otherwise they'd all
on.
get arrested.
Yeah, yeah. But
Or
it was always
husbands
in
would
the
do something.
it was in Greenwich Village because that was the only place that you could have such a thing.
Yes,
They were
yes.
very avant-garde. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that is
Um,
cool. So as you were writing, as you've been writing, did you learn something new about yourself that was different from the Linda who was teaching physical fitness, and the Linda of the past versus the
yeah.
Linda, the writer?
It's amazing because I didn't set out to write feminist books, but all my books have a feminist theme to them. And my husband actually, I think it was after the emerald necklace, said to me, "When did you become such a feminist?" I, I, it was always in me, but I was not one of those people who went marching. But it was always in me, I guess. I'm not this staunch feminist. I remember women like being so upset if a woman held the door open for a man, like, who cares? I'll hold the door open for you. And if you want to hold it open for me, that's lovely. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm with
but
you.
it was that has come out of me much more. I realized who I am. And isn't it
That's
fun
really
to get
good.
to know yourself at this age? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the power of writing and reading because here we are as the writers finding out things about ourselves, and here we are hoping that our readers will find something out about themselves, that they'll learn
Uh,
something new, that will get them thinking
yeah,
differently or just reacting in a different
right.
way. I mean, it's such this is why we do what we do.
Yes, I've
This is why
always,
we do it.
I've heard in the past, like there were writers who say, "Oh, I had to write. I had a story I had to tell, or I had to get my emotions out, or, it was therapeutic." I didn't have that. Um, yeah, I had stories that came to me that I wanted to get out to tell, but it wasn't therapeutic. But then I'm learning more about me as I'm writing it. Not only
Oh,
learning more about writing at the same time.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
learning more about you. That is awesome.
And yes, and you're absolutely right, Karen, because we want our readers to connect
Yes,
and talk
yes.
to us about it.
Talk to us,
There's
react,
nothing
write
better.
us.
There's nothing better when a reader contacts me and talks to me about it. Yeah,
Yeah. I try and remember that for some of the writers that I follow. I think, oh, they have so many people. But then I think,
you're
it's
right.
so good, one more voice because we're fragile people, we
Yeah,
writers.
yeah, yeah.
Where
Yes,
our feelings can get hurt really easily.
very easily.
So, is there something that you have read recently that you can recommend to our audience?
I was late to the game on the Frozen River because everybody was talking about this book a year or two ago. I I absolutely loved the Frozen River. It's about an early midwife, a colonial, well, no, it's after colonial times. It's like this, well, it is before. It's just around 1700s.
Mhm.
But there's a mystery to it. But she's such a fabulous character. I like a strong, feisty woman character.
Mhm.
So yes, the prose is gorgeous. But I want to give a shout out also because everybody talks about the bestsellers.
Yes.
But I have recently read Janice Robinson Daly's new book. Um, the title just escapes me at the moment, but it's
Yes,
coming out
yes.
at
It's
the end of
coming out.
March.
Actually, I have the title right here. Quick, because
Oh
this is
God.
her
Under
third
Two
book.
Flags, Under Two
Yes,
Flags.
Under Two Flags.
And
Yes.
I was an early reader on the book, and I love to tell people about writers that they're not necessarily going to know about because they're not on the New York Times list. The only certain writers are on that list. And there are so many wonderful writers. So, yeah, Under Two Flags is coming out soon. And I just would like to give a shout out about that book. Yeah, it
She's
was
a
a wonderful
terrific
book.
historical fiction writer. She
Yep.
is wonderful.
About an opera singer who goes over to Germany before World War II
Right before World
begins.
War II. Yeah.
And yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. Yeah, being a beta reader. is a terrific way to get exposed to so many other books. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is fun. I love doing that as well. Well, this has been such a delightful conversation.
It always is
Everybody,
with
now,
you.
thank you. Always with you. And I know my audience knows that you can find Linda's books. You can still pre-order. It's not too late. And you can find her books all on Amazon. You can find them on Barnes and Noble. You can find them in your local independent bookstore. You could, wherever you buy and borrow books in your public library, if you don't see it, you know what you should do. You just go up and ask for it, and they will get it. But Linda, beyond that, how can they be in touch with you? I know you have this amazing newsletter. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you can get in touch with me all through my website, linda-rosen.com. And I would love you to sign up for Linda's Tea Room. We meet for tea, and I tell you what's going on in my writer world, but I tell you about my ceramics, or I tell you about my pot, my orchids, and it's just I love writing Linda's Tea Room. And you can read the first chapter of Abandoning the Script, and you've got another day, I think, to pre-order it with a discount right from my website. It's linda-rosen.com.
There you go. You can get it on it at a discount today and tomorrow because
Okay.
then it's out there for the world.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Linda, for joining me again.
Thank
And
you.
congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
This
Thank
is
you.
awesome. And thank all of you, whether you're listening on Spotify or you're listening on your Apple podcast or watching us on YouTube or on my website or on my author Facebook page, Karen E. Osborne, wherever you're seeing this, thank you. And I hope that we will see you next week. What are you reading? What are you writing? Have a great week, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.